What's up, everybody? Richard back this week with another episode of the Warped Report. That's right, we're still going strong over here on the Out of Line YouTube channel, bringing you the news each and every week. And this week, not a whole lot of album action. Quite frankly, this time of year, not a lot of albums really get released, and that makes sense. We're very close to Christmas Day. A lot of people probably aren't in the mood to kind of digest the full album, but we have had a few notable singles come out, namely from Memphis Mayfire, the Amity Affliction, and Shadow of Intent. So we'll talk about those at the end to kind of cover, where we would normally talk about an album. But with that, let's dive into the news that we got for this week, kicking it off with the So What Music Festival in 2022, specifically May 27th to the 29th, 2022 at 𝗧𝗛𝗘 Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Now, this festival is going to feature many different genres, but, we have Lamb Goat here has actually supplied us with, the bulk of kind of the more metal, hardcore acts, including Parkway Drive, I Prevail, The Ghost Inside Alexis on Fire, Knocked Loose, Born of Osiris, Bleeding Through, Lorna Shore, Suicide Silence, The Acacia Strain, Veil of Maya, Angel Maker, Chamber, Distant, Dropout Kings, Left to Suffer, Jinx, If I Die First, Spite, Volume. I mean, just you name it. This is a modern metal fan's dream day. So again, May 27th to 29th in 2022 at 𝗧𝗛𝗘 Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Now, we're coming off of not Jesus Piece, Turnstile being on Seth Meyers' late night show, which we will talk about that in a minute. But we also had the drummer for Jesus Piece, 𝗧𝗛𝗪, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He was going to be doing the drumming for Charlie XCX for the SNL performance, but it was unfortunately canceled due to a surge in COVID-19 cases involving the Omicron variant. So it will unfortunately not be happening, but it was canceled. So maybe there'll be another performance there in the future, because that would have been really awesome for him to do that, and also for just the hardcore and Warped Tour metalcore scene as well. So very unfortunate, but hopefully it happens again in the future. Now this was interesting to me. Slaughter to Prevail say they will most likely sue Sumerian Records. Now, Alex Terrible did an interview here. It's fully in Russian. However, Lamb Goat has done their best to kind of translate it using Google Translate. And through all this right here, this big quote here, pretty much the TLDR that I got from it is that they were stoked to sign with Sumerian. They signed something, and they really weren't thinking about what they were signing, and it has probably reared its ugly head, especially with the success of the band. So now it sounds like, hey, we signed this, but we want to get out of it. We want to go independent and make more money on our own. And I kind of, listen, man, I totally understand wanting to go independent. I totally think that is a great move. However, if you sign a contract, you've got to be cognizant of what you're signing. I mean, it's kind of like the old saying, you've made your bed, now you have to lay in it, So I totally understand them wanting to go independent. But at the same time, man, if you have a contract and you signed it, whether you were a young kids back then, you got to have a lawyer present and somebody to check that stuff out for you, so that way you're not 6 years later now wondering, why did we sign this? We could be making way more money independently, So, I mean, listen, I feel for them, but at the same time, if that's the case, I hate to say it, but you gotta be cognizant of what you're signing. And this is a full interview. It's in Russian, so I mean, if you wanted to watch it, it is out there on YouTube. But I don't speak Russian, so I wouldn't be able to fully enjoy it. But maybe somebody out there, if you're watching this, maybe you will. Let's move on, though. This is kind of an interesting update, because as you guys know, we talked about this last week. Alex Rudinger left the band in what was a very odd thing that happened with them. He was in the promo pictures and he wasn't in the band anymore. He left and he said he was never really in the band. I don't know, very weird. But either way, Whitechapel have recruited previous touring drummer Ernie Eniguez for their current tour. So that'll be cool. I remember Ernie was with Whitechapel a little while ago, doing touring stuff for them. And he actually says right here, according to Lamb Goat, that he just finished up a tour with Suicide Silence. So of course, Whitechapel wastes no time. They have a new drummer to fill in right away. But speaking of tours, the Acacia Strain have had to end their tour early due to COVID. Their tour with 𝗧𝗪𝗏 𝗪𝗏 and Dying Wish had to end, says here, slightly early due to a pair of positive COVID-19 cases in the group's touring party. So that is unfortunate. But it looks like they're going to be moving the date from December 17th in Worcester to March the 4th in 2022. And it says that all tickets originally purchased for December 17th will now be valid for March 4th. So the Acacia Strain tour had to be cut short due to COVID. Now, we talked about SNL, but Turnstile, as you will probably know by now, was on Seth Meyers. They played 2 songs, Mystery and TLC, Turnstile Love Connection. There is a video out there on YouTube. I highly recommend watching it. It was a very cool sight to see a band from, our sphere on a stage like that. I thought that was really, really cool, and I highly recommend that you go and watch that. And then we're going to talk about another tour here. This is a really cool tour. So we have Code Orange headlining with Loathe, Vended, and Dying Wish. Now, I believe we touched on this briefly last week, but we're still kind of unsure of who the touring bands were, but now we do know it's Code Orange, Loathe, who are kind of blowing up, in the metalcore scene now, Vended, who are, the kids of Sean Crayon, Clown from Slipknot, and also Corey Taylor, and then Dying Wish, who, this is a massive tour for them, a kind of a smaller, hardcore, kind of old school metalcore sounding band signed to Sharp Tone Records. This is a massive tour for them. I mean, this is going to be massive. Like, just some of the venues that they'll play, is just crazy. So, so Boston, Mass, they'll play at the Paradise Rock Club. Okay, that's actually kind of interesting. Paradise Rock Club is a pretty decent sized venue near me, so they'll be playing some pretty decent rooms, but yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I'm very happy for Dying Wish to net a tour of this caliber. Now let's talk about some songs here. We have Memphis Mayfire debut their new song Left for Dead. They've kind of been, releasing single by single by single. They all have this same kind of TV screen background, but this one here, solid song, man. Your typical verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus, outro. But it hit hard in some spots, very catchy. And this is definitely, just a really solid traditional style metalcore track. Next up, we have the Amity Affliction. They premiere their new track, Death is All Around. This one here, it also came with an EP. I believe there was 2 other tracks that were listed with it. But Death is All Around. This one was cool. Very cool, djenty kind of riffs with kind of that more melancholic sound that we're used to with the Amity Affliction. However, the breakdown in this one was probably one of the more heavier breakdowns from them I've heard. We got a 𝗧𝗏 in there, and this Australian metalcore outfit, man, they've been a fan favorite for a while, and it's really cool to see them go back to these kind of sounds. They did a lot of kind of more electronic stuff in the past, and I don't know how well received that was, but it's cool to see them going back to a more heavier style. Speaking of heavy, though, Shadow of Intent, their new single Of Fury, their next album, Elegy, will be releasing on January 14th. This song was okay. Shadow of Intent, I go to Chris for my studio for my solo project when I've been recording music. Chris is a great guy. He's a guitar player in Shadow of Intent, guitar player in Currents. I don't know. I just think that it's just a musical style that's just really kind of not for me. It's very symphonic. This one here almost seemed like a Christmas song almost. It was kind of weird, the timing that it came out, obviously with Christmas around the corner, but also just the nature of the song really reminded me of a Christmassy kind of song. But I'll check out the album, of course. Chris is a great guy, and I'm happy to do that. But, I definitely prefer the more current stuff that he produces. But with that, everybody, that does it for this week's episode of the Warped Report. We had a few new songs come out, really no albums. And next week will be interesting. I don't think we're really going to get any albums then either. And it'll be post-Christmas Day. So hopefully we have some stuff to talk about. Otherwise, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it, okay? There's always something going on. And besides, here at the Warped Report, man, we're always trying to find something to talk about, and I'm glad that we can do that each and every week for you for at least 10 minutes, a quick ride to work, doing some chores around the house. I really appreciate all of you listening. And at the time of this, that this comes out, this will be the final show before Christmas Day. So if you do celebrate Christmas Day or Kwanzaa or any other holiday around this time of year, I hope you have a great holiday. And I hope everything goes well. I hope you get all the presents that you asked for. And listen, man, I really appreciate you watching. And till next week, I will see you right back here, same time, same Out of Line YouTube channel. Till next week, peace.